on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. This is Sooner Sports Talk, presented by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Sooner Sports Talk is also brought to you by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy, and by Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment destination of OU Athletics. This is Sooner Sports Talk. Now, here's Chris Plank and Teddy Lehman.
Oh, and please welcome in the most important person on this program, Sooner head football coach Brent Venables. What's going on,
yeah,
Coach?
Appreciate
How
that.
are you, man?
Wow. Yeah,
what a...
moving up in status.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Go on the road, never easy in SEC play, 26-7, the final score. I was laying out some of the numbers. They're just incredible. They had 50 yards rushing to the Gamecocks on their first drive. They finished with 54 for the game, which is amazing. And it was a 72-yard drive they went on their first drive of the game. And in the second and third quarters combined, 63 total yards. This team really made some impressive adjustments, didn't they?
Yeah, well, again, I think our lines of scrimmage really played well, super physical. We had good tight fits and played with good leverage and really good, communication. Our guys stayed on their feet, looked at the right things, played with great fundamentals and played with great effort. Had they were kind of wounded from, the week before. And, again, as we say, man, don't waste your suffering, don't waste the pain, don't waste the moment to learn and grow. All the growth happens in those valleys that nobody really loves, but that's where it happened. So, again, I think it was a team that was focused and on a mission and felt like they had a lot to prove. And Cyril, again, as we said going in, a lot to play for.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the lines of scrimmage. I thought one of the best things was you got your group of offensive linemen in, your starters, played a whole game, and I can't remember the last time we've seen that where someone didn't have to come out, got rolled up or something. And you had mentioned going in just the cohesion, the continuity. It's more important on the offensive line than anywhere else. And I feel like it showed in that game, and it's something good to build on.
No doubt. And, again, the week before we had protected really good for a good part of that game until it got in doubt. We had to throw it and when they knew we were going to throw it. But, again, offensively, we don't give up a tackle for loss or a sack until the fourth quarter when the game's, really finished. And then defensively, just, man, our guys they did a wonderful job getting knocked back. And that's really what we said victory looks like. We talked about that on Friday night, Saturday morning. What's victory look like going on the road, winning the SEC, man? It's that the offensive line, the defensive line, the pile going in the direction of the good guys all day long. And just 1 yard at a time, one play at a time, just finishing with great strain. Offensive line-wise, that's our best game of the year. And regardless of who we're playing, it's the tempo that we played with, the pad level, the striking with the hands, and movement with the feet. We moved people, not perfect, but we targeted people the right way. We worked together well. The tight ends, easily the best game that they've had when it comes to that. Caden Helms played his best game. He got one pass, a little 5-yard out route, but other than that, he didn't.
He was coming off the ball.
He impacted winning and influenced winning. And the other guys that played, away from the football. Jermichael Carter on the first touchdown run comes in there and gets after the safety, and, they're playing press man. And if they're going to do that, we run in there and crack, and really one guy kind of takes up two. But, that was kind of a picture of what you wanted. We took care of the ball. We were +2 on the margin. They don't convert a third down until the fourth quarter. And even when, they made some plays, which, again, that's a team that came in here 3-3 a year ago and got after us and won 10 games. And, a good football team that just a week ago took LSU in Baton Rouge. It's 10-7 with, a few minutes to go in the game. And same thing, they went to Columbia, Missouri 3 weeks ago, and it's 26-20, with about 3 minutes to go in the game. And Missouri kicks a field goal late. So a team that's got really good talent, two of the premier players in the country, and Dylan Stewart on one side, and and Lenore Sellers on the other. You know, Shane's done a wonderful job at building the program the right way, and they've played well at home, and they've been really disruptive. They led the SEC coming into the game with non-defensive or non-offensive touchdowns. Matter of fact, they led the nation in non-offensive touchdowns, and they had the most turnovers in the SEC defensively coming into the game, and so we go turnover free. We really played with a great rhythm, both offensively, defensively. Had way too many had 4 penalties on special teams. We had Elijah Thomas, you know, he decleats a guy, and so it's unnecessary roughness. And then Boganowski kind of clips a guy in the back on another one. And then we had a couple of false starts there when we're trying to get them to jump off sides, and we got one of our young guys jumped off sides. We had a crappy punt, you know, with the first real bad punt of the season. But you know, other than that, you know, we gave up a 4th and goal touchdown, and that we really felt like we could have done some things that helped us there. But other than that, man, it's a heck of a lot more good than not. We got a really good road win in the SEC in a wonderful environment. Again, you guys were there. Not an easy place to play, and you know, by the end of the game, man, we're celebrating with our fans, our band, in the corner of the end zone. Just really proud of our staff and our players. Just for, you know, a week ago, when you're in college football, in the NFL, whatever, and you're at a place that really deeply cares about winning and being successful and has incredibly high standards. You know, on the outside, there's going to be a lot of, you know, noise that's focused on rocking the boat. And then for us, man, let's focus on rowing the boat. You know, that's what we can control. And our guys did a great job, man. Just went right back to work and had a great week of prep and jumped off the bus with great confidence. And I really felt like we had you know, we attacked everything with a relentless mindset, and our offense goes right down and scores on a 75-yard drive, and the defense gets a 4th down stop. What a play that was by Taylor Wine. But you should watch, you know, and there was several guys, but that play happens. It wasn't a quarterback draw. Everybody was covered, but Cortland Gilroy, you know, the play before, or 2 plays before, Gentry Williams gets hurt, and so here comes the freshman. He comes in there, and you should watch him cover his man on that call. He looks like somebody is trying to drown him, and he's fighting for his life to cover his guy with this amazing sense of desperation. I showed it to the team today, and that's what a championship standard looks like right there. Like, there's nothing nonchalant. Man, he's just having a sense of urgency and, you know, just a real toughness about him. And that's why the quarterback scrambles, because you got sticky coverage. And we tell him, look, if you do a great job in your coverage, man, this quarterback's going to scramble, and we're going to come get him, and they're not going to score. So great job by everybody. What a real complete win, and there's plenty to get better at. That's the fun part. And we spent some time today on, you know, right before half when we get the penalty on special teams for hitting the guy a little hard. We fielded the ball at the 40-yard line. Right.
Hitting the guy a little hard. I like that.
You almost got another one late for hitting the guy hard
anymore, especially if they're not ready. So I got it. All right. So instead of getting the ball at the 40 with 7 minutes to go, we're up 14-0, have a chance to get the ball back, and, man, getting to this great rhythm. Next thing you know, it's 17-0. It's 21-0. They're losing hope quickly. Instead of that, we get the 15-yard penalty, and then we go 3 and out. We miss a block on 2nd down, and then they decide the coverage on 3rd down. We go 3 and out, and then we get an 18-yard punt. Next thing, they get the ball at the 50. We've barely used any clock, and then they, whatever it was, it's like a 14-play drive for a touchdown. Yeah. And then so we watched those plays that I just said, and then we watched just a couple of plays from that 14-play. Where did Oklahoma lose to Oklahoma? You know, on 4th and 2, we got. They run a mesh, and we got guys in and out. We got a guy on the dive, and we got a guy on the upfield shoulder of the quarterback, and then the guy on the upfield shoulder of the quarterback, he thinks he handed it, and so he pokes his head in here, and there goes Sellers, and he gets a conversion. And then we get him to 3rd and goal, 3rd and long, and then we get a little tight, and then we play inside leverage. We're supposed to be on the outside. We reach, and we grab him on a corner route. And we really literally, that guy, he did the same thing, made the same mistake on a Tuesday practice, and I went over and coached him and corrected him, and just got to keep, you know, that's football too, you know. We just but that's a self-inflicted thing, and then so then we give them a 1st and goal. And but proud of the strain, the fight, our effort, our belief, our leadership, and that was a lot of fun to celebrate. There's nothing like it. We get 12 guaranteed games, and there's nothing better than the first, let's say, 3 hours after you win, and you get to be with your guys and the coaches and the locker room, and just, man, it's just like, and you put everything you got into it, and then you got to tell them, hey, man, this is a short-lived thing, and just like that, man, you got to get your eyes forward on what's next. And just left the practice field, had another wonderful practice. Man, our guys like each other. They like to work. They like to compete. They like to prepare. They've been relentless about it, and it's a fun team to be around.
Opening segment brought to you by Noble McIntyre with McIntyre Law. Noble McIntyre Law, award-winning Oklahoma personal injury attorneys. When we come back, we won't look ahead yet. We'll still look back on not just the defensive performance, but that running game that got to click in next. Stick around. You're watching Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment destination of OU Athletics. One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan-fueled, athlete-focused.
Mateer, handoff Blaylock again, over the left side to the 15, turns it up, he's to the 10, 5, touchdown! Torrey Blaylock from 18 yards out, Pater, and the Sooners strike first in South Kakalaki.
Welcome back to Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables, live from Rudy's Country Store and Bar. Look at this crowd. Look at this crowd.
Wonderful crowd
here tonight. Thank you, guys.
It's awesome.
Segments presented by Dos Equis. Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. 40 total carries, 171 yards, 4.3 yards per carry. But that was the SEC Freshman of the Week, Torrey Blaylock. 19 carries, 101 yards, 5.3. It's clicking, Coach.
Yeah, and again, if you take out, again, it's all sack adjusted. So when I'm talking defense, I like to say, they had 1.2 yards of play, but that's all the tackles for loss and sacks combined. But yeah, if you just look at just the run plays, again, offensively, averaged, well over 5 yards a carry. So good day. And again, just what you want to see the team, you just want it. And I know sometimes it's hard to see for everybody. Some of it's not as obvious, but incrementally, one player, at a time, a week, that you're just getting a little bit better. And you're really looking for daily improvement. If you're doing it right, you got great self-awareness, you're honest with yourself, you're tough on yourself. Coaches got to play a part, the players got to play a part, the work, the strain, the effort, the consistency leads to getting better. This is a developmental game, and you can't get better if you don't show up every day with something on the line, and our guys have been doing that, man. And so I just want to, affirm them and recognize them and their hard work. It doesn't just happen, by accident. Again, there's too many good teams, good coaches, good schemes, and things of that nature. That's a very talented roster, and again, a defense that, as I said, they're number one in the conference in forced turnovers, and really overall just a really good, solid defense that is going to make you work for everything in both throwing the football and running the football.
He mentioned Blaylock, in the accolades he got. At least it felt like it's the most we saw Xavier Robinson in the football game, and he feels like he's a rhythm guy. The more carries he gets, the better he's gone. What'd you see from him? Yeah,
he's, again, had, that might be 3 straight good, solid weeks of practice, and was banged up early in the year, but he's got great instincts, as you saw at the end of the last year in particular. He's got a great pace to him as a running back, and he's a big, strong guy. He's got really good feet and nice feel, knows how to set blocks up, and he knows what those really thin, for a big guy, he knows where those thin creases are and how a defense is in a disadvantaged position, if you will, from a tackling standpoint. So really a lot of good stuff those two guys, certainly can build on.
Defensive tackle-wise, shifting back over to the defensive side of the football, we always ask you about David Stone and Jaden Jackson, and obviously G-Baby and his celebration dance. But boy, 99 when he gets out there, Marcus Strong.
Yeah,
he
Marcus. Yeah, he's a big athletic guy that works really hard. He's had a couple of knee issues since he's been here that has set him back from a development standpoint. He's missed significant time both this last year and the prior year from a high school injury. And but man, he's got really good natural power. He's an athlete. He's got really good, strong, heavy hands, and he's going to be a really good player. And he's got great chemistry with the guys. And and mentioned to somebody else that's not talked about enough, Dom Williams. One of the goal line, they get the ball down there, and there's a play. And just like you would expect, a really good defense. Everything starts up front, inside out. And Dom Williams is literally taking on 3 offensive linemen. And you got Kobe McKenzie coming free. You got Kendall Daniels coming free. You got Taylor Wine gets great knockback on the interior on the C gap knockback. But Dom Williams, a guy like that, man, you help us win. You impact winning. You didn't make the play, but you made the play. And you made it happen for everybody around you by doing your job, and that's what really good ones can do. And played with great leverage and knockback. But that whole group, man, they really feed off of each other. They're a pack. A lone wolf, doesn't survive long. But a pack, man, they run together. They compete together. They're up there in that stadium right now. They eating dinner. They came in yesterday, and they come up and watched tape on their own, went through the grade sheets, and then they were all going. I think Dom Williams taking them out somewhere Mexican. They were going to all eat Mexican food, and the guy with the highest NIL was going to go pay for it. So, which is great. I thought that was awesome. Yeah, I'm like, who's buying? Thinking that nobody's going to say nothing, nobody's going to chirp up, and then I'm going to bust somebody's chops for not offering. And it already knew who was paying. So. Awesome. But, man, I love that. That's one of the things I love about college football. It's that brotherhood, that time you spend together, man. Don't ever take it for granted. I remind the players all the time, these are the good old days. And don't take any of it for granted. And even the bad days are the good old days.
How about Mateer? Looks like he, Yep. Getting better, feeling the hand probably a lot better as he distances himself from that surgery and had a pretty solid day.
Yeah, really, really good day. Made good decisions, took care of the football. Everything goes through him. He touches the ball every snap, so you can't do it without him, without question. But he had good accuracy and good timing of things. Again, here he does a really nice job of kind of going through that progression and finding Kanak over the top, making good decisions here. And again, that is winning football. You get 5-6 yards right there, throws the comeback to Giovanni right on time, throwing the ball, releasing the ball before they get out of the break. And then here's a guy, go make a play, picks up another 6, 7, 8 yards there. It's the Sategna. And again, here we got a little perimeter screen. He gets it right on the good right shoulder so he can catch it and get vertical. A lot of little stuff that you just can't take for granted. And even here, he throws it in front of Burks, which I love, so he can get vertical faster. But look at him running through trash, being tough. And the team feeds off of that right there, getting vertical in the run game. And there again, he throws it to Sategna, away from the leverage of the defender. And then Sategna, like a good big skill guy will do, he'll make the guy miss. And then here again, they got into a nice rhythm on that drive and throw a little, screen and go right there away from the defenders. Just a really good day, man. And for me, I really relate to that position. And again, the heaviness of the weight that you have to carry at that position at every program in college football, in the NFL. And some of it's fair and a lot of it's not. And so, he's a guy that runs to the weight. And he's trying to get, put another, plate on me, put another one on me. He wants to carry it for everybody. And as I told him, you don't need to carry it. We all share in, carrying that weight. And but he's awesome. And my message to him all week is just get better. You're not going to be perfect, man. Just focus on getting a little bit better, getting healthy, having a really good process. Don't try to win the game in the first drive of the game, and play football. And And so, again, last week we spent, a couple of different days of just showing them some drives in the NFL and college football of what winning complementary football, how you win together. It takes a tight end, it takes the O-line, it takes the center, it takes the receiver, it takes the running back, certainly the defense and all the things there too. And just showed them what winning football looks like, even through making mistakes, guys getting whooped, having penalties, a bad snap, things like that. But look, they're able to still overcome. And it's about, get right back to the basics, next play mentality. Don't care, don't let the last play or the last drive or the last quarter or the last interception beat you, in the next drive and the next opportunity. So that's, that's how we get to kind of game day.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
This segment's been presented by Dos Equis. Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Ole Miss coming up on Saturday. Let's preview the Rebels. You're watching Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Stick around.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by OU Fan Shop. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com. Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality.
Snap back to him, and it's a pass. It is intercepted. Taylor Wine picked it off. It's a turnover. The punter threw it right to Taylor Wine, and the Sooners take over at midfield.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, along with Teddy Lehman. That's the coach, Brent Venables. I'm Chris Plank, and this segment is being brought to you by Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment partner of OU Athletics. Taylor Wine's got some hands now. Man.
Yeah.
That was a pretty nice play on the fake punt.
Sure was.
But, again, I'm blessed. I get to be down there as a sideline reporter for the radio network, and I think everyone to a man was like, fake, head on a swim. I mean, everyone kind of had a feel on that one. That had to make you feel good of it.
Yeah, you scream it every time we go out. Maybe at some point in time, some year, you're going to be right. No, Coach Beamer's known. We knew just because we felt their offense would maybe have a hard time moving the ball consistently. Right. And in a tight game, he's always has his guys very well prepared, and they've had fakes ready every week, and sure enough, our guys were ready. We were in safe, and they thought they were getting the look, but we had a little zone pressure. A lot of times you call your safe stuff, and you think the defense is ready, but sometimes the guys take the play off. We never want that to happen. We practice twice a week. We take periods where we practice on fake field goals and fake punts and lots of different looks, lots of different fakes and whatnot. And it's still about going out and executing, respecting the play the next play with everything you got. And Taylor, that was a message to the team today is whatever opportunity Taylor Wine gets, he's always ready, and he goes out and he executes it. And then he's relentless worker. He's just somebody that you can trust, you can count on. He stays right here. He just has really high standards that he holds himself to. Here's a play here where he just gets up the field and has great awareness. Quarterback's scrambling, comes in, saves the tackle. Here great penetration. He knocks the heck out of the guy right here, right there. He hit him right there, knocked. He's a 275-pound guy, and the guy's 350.
Oh, and
he knocked it backwards, and then right here, he's got concrete in his helmet, and there again, he's really just a hard-headed, heavy-handed guy, but he's the same guy every day. And it's like you, and I'm not gassing Teddy, but the best players, that I've ever coached are always the guys that are most consistent. They're trustworthy, reliable, not just a good guy. That doesn't cut it. Just up here in this rare air consistently with their work ethic, mindset, attitude, how they show up every day, they flip a switch. And that's why Taylor has been playing at such a high level.
Well, somehow this kind of slid under the radar. I had forgotten about it, but I guess your field goal kicker is just going to make 55-yarders it's nothing now. Dude, just good from 60 plus.
Listen, there has been nothing easy about being a head coach, all right? But watching In Epsley, and this is not taking a shot at anybody, but man, we have struggled to make kicks, in our first 3 years. And so and Zach Schmidt was a stud last year, did an awesome job. He had his best year, as a Sooner last year. But, man, it's been a lot of fun. And if Welch was out there, Welch would be smashing them too. Literally, I watch it every day. And Sandell, man, he's edgy. He's competitive. He thinks, he's like 5'8", and he thinks he's 6'4". And, he's a kicker, and he hangs with the kickers, but he thinks he's a D tackle. But he's every day, he's – I want to kick a 62. I want to kick 64. Like at the end of practice in front of the team, he wants to show his teammates and his coaches, man, you can count on me. I'm a dude. And so that's been awesome, to see. And he's really plugged right in. He's had a great, great year.
Let's take a look at our upcoming schedule for the Sooners. This Saturday, Ole Miss coming to town, and it's brought to you by One Oklahoma powered by Sooner Sports Properties. Fan Field, athlete focused. Lane Kiffin always has a good offense. Your quarterback, Trinidad Chambliss, is a wild story coming from Ferris State. What have you seen as you prepared for the Ole Miss Rebs?
Yeah, I mean, they're really good. I really thought that, they were going to lose a lot of guys that graduated. I guess Jackson Dart's gone.
Right.
All these guys are gone, and some guys that we had recruited, receivers, skill-wise, running backs. And then they got these guys. I'm like, where did they come from? And but he does a great job at finding them and coaching them. They got a really good system. They run on the ball really, really well. I don't even know what the stats are. I just know they're good. And some of it, you're looking for matchups and how you feel like what you need to do so you have a chance to win. And but throwing, running, Trinidad Chambliss, man, he's a winner. Incredibly accurate, can run, can throw, good decision maker. He's got great maturity, great toughness to him. Not a real tall guy, but man, he plays super tough. He plays thick, and they've been in a few tight games too, and they've shown great poise as an offense. The play design is always excellent from Coach Kiffin and their offensive staff. Do a great job. He's always doing the next cool thing offensively, and stuff that you think, man, I'm not sure if that'll work, and sure it does. And then defensively, Pete Golding and their defensive staff, I got immense respect for them, who they are. They're great teachers, good systems. They've recruited very, very well, and always seems that he didn't have to use his kicker and punter very much because he's always scoring touchdowns. But they've got excellent players all the way around.
Well, what scares you the most about Chambliss at quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, just overall explosiveness, as an offensive unit. This will be, the best, unit that we've seen from a ability to throw and run at both. That combination, the experience there, what they have up front, and that's the biggest thing. The explosive plays, the ability to, if you hunker down too much in the run game, they're gonna, create one-on-ones, and they're really good in their one-on-one matchups. And they've beaten really good people. They scored their first 5 possessions against Georgia, and Georgia's been the gold standard for defense for, close to a decade, however long Coach Smart's been there, what he's been able to do. And then finally, Georgia gets a couple of stops there late and wins the game. And but just they can get into a really, really good rhythm offensively, and it's hard to stop when they do. So at the end of the day, it's still these types of teams. It still comes down to playing collectively together. Your coverage helps your front. Your front helps your coverage. But the lines of scrimmage is what it's all about to me.
Yeah, and then you mentioned it. 8 guys drafted off that team from last year. 5 of them on the defensive side of the football. Of course, your quarterback's doing a pretty nice job with the New York Giants right now, and Jackson Dart.
You watch him; he's just a stud.
Yeah.
And,
I remember he came and found you in pregame last year.
Yeah,
Say,
he came on a recruiting trip,
right.
And we thought we had him. You and I'm not going to say it on air, but he went to Ole Miss after us, and they offered a little bit more than us. And at the time, you don't know there's no market. There's market's whatever somebody's willing to pay. And we already had Dylan, but we didn't have anybody else on the roster at that time, scholarship quarterback. So we were like, and Jackson had put himself in, and we had a great visit, but he ended up going there, and they got a great family, wonderful young man, and it's really cool to see him have success.
Yeah, it was that was a cool moment. I remember Coach Venables was walking out, and Jackson Dart's warming up, and he stops his warm to go grab you and say, hey, so those are relationships that matter. Really cool to see.
Doubt.
There's our opponent preview, brought to you by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Property, Sooner Sports Properties, fan field athlete focused. One more segment with Coach next. Stick around.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola. Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. OU's 2025 football games are available on Ritmo 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on these stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show.
Sellers 5 yards deep. Has the shotgun snap. It's a handoff over the left side. That's a safety. Marcus Strong sits on it. 2 points. Rolling on the field. And you can unhitch the wagon.
We were just talking about Marcus Strong a little earlier here on Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables. This segment, our final one with Coach, is brought to you by Mercy. Mercy, your life is our life's work. All right, let's start it off with a question from John and Norman. It's the Rudy's question for Coach. Remember the best in real Texas barbecue, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Coach, how about the play of Kendall Daniels and the kind of person and player he's developing into in your defense? Stud.
Yeah, I mean, his transformation, his ability to, go to a new school, start completely over for any person, let alone a young man, with the depth of the things that we do. And coming from Oklahoma State, and then being in the transfer portal, and we got some returning guys that, also happened to play linebacker. And he just did a wonderful job of, making sure that he kept the main thing initially, building good relationships, earning trust through hard work, showing up every day, figuring out how we did what we did instead of people conforming to him and his ways. And then, man, what he's able to do, his skill set, his length, his speed, his power, his instincts, his explosiveness, his consistency. There's not a lot that he can't do. He's been big time. He's exceeded my expectations. I just haven't seen many transfer type guys that come in and just impact, that fast, that quick.
Well, it also helps when you have so many guys that have been there and they get up to the level a lot quicker. Well, I don't know if you've seen this, but Lane Kiffin was with the media today, and he was talking about your defense and said that you guys do a really good job of studying other people's signals. And he told Hugh Freeze after the game that after he watched the Auburn game that he needs to change the signals because he saw the way that you guys were reacting to some of the plays.
We jumped a route?
Yeah, it happens a lot.
That's great. I'm glad we jumped a route.
I saw a South Carolina guy jump a route. What's that mean?
Oh, man, I guess coming from Lane, I take it as a compliment. Like, we must have watched our guys be really prepared, because that's who they are, man. They're relentless. Their preparation, their detail, the time they spend above and beyond what's required, that's the proof in how we're playing right now, that D-line, the way they were able to dominate physically. And but I honestly, I don't know of a team that hasn't huddled. I think every single team we've played the last 2 years has huddled. So that between that and the helmet communication, I don't know how that works, but yeah, no, we got enough to worry about just getting our guys lined up with the right call and things of that nature. But I guess I'll take that as a kind of a weird kind of compliment. Our guys must look pretty good on film. So far, so good.
Yeah, we talked about Taylor Wine earlier. Miguel Chavis was on Coach's Corner, and he said he refers to him as Coach Wine because he's up there so much. You talked about your defensive tackles being up there so much. Mm-hmm. As a coach, that's got to be incredibly rewarding for you to see how important that work away from practice is to this defense and this team.
No doubt, and that's an environment that you're trying to nurture, a mindset, a culture of excellence, the preparation, the hard work, be rooted in all of the right things. The success comes from the work. The success comes from a consistent, elite mindset that is never satisfied, hungry to improve, having the humility that I don't have it all figured out. This is a developmental game. And, the more I know, the faster I can play. The faster I can play, the more violent I can play. And the game starts to slow down. The more you do that, the more you watch film, the more you really lock into the details of practice and preparation. So when it's third and medium and, they do a certain formation, they got certain splits, you figure out what the quarterback really can do well, right? What they lean on, and in the most critical, most pressure-filled moments, what did they go to? Their go-tos. And we all have them as coaches. And so then you can jump the route, and we're very aggressive, as people know. And our players have played at a really consistent level, through 7 games because of just relentless hours of work through the spring, the summer, fall camp, again, pre-practice, post-practice, and our coaches have done a wonderful job getting our guys ready to play at a really high level. But they're a fun group to coach because you can't push them enough. I mean, they don't want you over there in their huddle. They're like, we got this, coach, and just a few short years ago, in my opinion, we didn't know how to compete and practice at the standard that you need to perform the way we want to perform and who we want to be, from an identity standpoint. But man, I really appreciate some of our past players, just thinking out loud. And I know the pride that they have as they look back, whether it's, a few, years ago, a decade ago, or maybe it's Danny and Billy and Ethan and that group of players, Woody Washington, that really helped sow, and plant those seeds, and watching the fruits of all their labor.
I did want to ask you about R. Mason Thomas because he had another sack. He's stacking them up. He's got several weeks in a row where he's been in the backfield creating all that chaos. And how do you think that he's, accelerating, it feels like, towards the back half of the season?
I love that, man. You're always a little bit guarded with some of your best players. I mean, the guy's going to play, in the NFL, and, man, he is so ultra-focused. He is so concerned about being a great leader, continue to raise the bar when it comes to excellence and just showing up every day, owning all of your work, being just a really good leader. And I think he wants to leave his mark, and, from a motive standpoint. And it's amazing when you're so busy about just trying to be great that, everything goes so fast. And we were talking in the leadership meeting today, just how fast it's gone. You got 2 games and you got to bye, then you finish it up with three more. And so you're almost to the 4th quarter of your season, and really proud of the man he's become, the leader he's become, and certainly, man, he's going to accelerate through the finish line.
He's a fun guy to watch. He's a fun guy to talk to, and obviously he's not so fun for opposing teams' offense.
No, man, he is so good.
He has been fun. Hey, and then real quick, got about a minute left, Coach. 11 a.m. I know that's an early start for you guys, but we need you to be loud. And that's been a big-time difference.
Listen, I don't need to know. Everybody knows football, a lot more than, you or Teddy, but just kidding. No, man, the fans can have this amazing opportunity to impact the game. Again, where their communication for, their defense, for the offense, just being in a different kind of environment, it really makes a huge difference. I know everybody's going to show up, man. Yeah. This is one that we need you, and we're going to get a dub. We're going to do it together.
There you go. Thanks, Coach.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
There you go. It's Brent Venables. We'll come back and put a wrap on Sooner Sports Talk live from Rudy's.
We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. The Sooner Sports Podcast is presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino.
Mateer claps his hands, fakes the handoff, wants to throw, looks in zone, got a man, 5 caught, touchdown! Isaiah Satania, touchdown Sooners!
Great
and the
route.
Sooners indeed have a stranglehold in South Carolina.
Impressive 26-7 win for the Sooners. How about Brent Venables? How about Coach?
That was fun.
That was great.
That was fun.
Great. And so Teddy and I get a chance to wrap it up. Our final segment is brought to you by your local Sonic. Live free, eat Sonic. Coach gave us a little perspective on Ole Miss. What have you seen so far from the Reds?
They're good. They're good. Offense is really good. They're good on the line of scrimmage. Got a really good running back. They got a really good group of wide receivers, a big tight end that's turned into a really nice target for them. And, you know, Chambliss at quarterback has done a really good job. You know, Simmons went down, and they say he's, you know, ready. He's back. He's healthy. He's ready to go. And there's been some thought around there that maybe, you know, he's a better passer and maybe gives him a little bit better chance in some opportunities. So you may see both quarterbacks, but, you know, I don't know about that. But I know that they have a really good design offensively. And on the defensive side of the ball, they've got a good group of 11 starters. Problem is they're not all that deep. So, you know, if you can drag them into the deep water, go on long drives where they have to rotate some of those guys out of the lineup, then I think you can find some stuff. And, you know, they've given up some points and some yards. So hopefully we can get out there, run the football again, and open things up for Mateer down the field.
This might be an unfair question since we only have about 40 seconds left in the show, but what does make Lane Kiffin's offense so unique? Is it his complex signals that we're not going to be able to figure out? Is that what it is?
It's the complex. You know, a lot of people, the rumor going around now is that, you know, Georgia had to change their defensive signals, and then in the fourth quarter, you know, Ole Miss wasn't able to score. I would say that they just always have a real good play design, play action, route combinations. They do a really good job at adjusting to what the defense's coverage is and changing the route concepts. And it's a well-oiled machine. They run the ball well. They throw it well. The underneath stuff is good. They've got quarterback run game in there. It's just a really good mix of pretty much everything.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. Early start, so go ahead, make your plans now. 11 a.m. kick. Now, we've got a new expanded pregame show, 3 hours now on the Sooner Radio Network. So Teddy, Gabe, Toby, and myself will be live on the air starting at 8 a.m. Be loud.
Got to be loud. We need Ole Miss to go to the signals, right? We need them to use the signals. Get as loud as you can.
Thanks for joining us for Sooner Sports Talk at Rudy's. Until next Monday night, Boomer Sooner, everybody. Have a great game day.
Sooner Sports Talk has been brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue, and by Riverwind Casino, always a good time. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.